So hello everybody, welcome back. I hope that you like this video and that you find it helpful somehow. So anyway, grab your notebook, and this is a continuation of the dare that I lost, like miserably, probably, because I was supposed to pick 101 tips for saving money or making money or something like that. Um, and I was supposed to take like an hour or so, but not happening. It's me. So last video I was able to make 38, and this is up the top of my head. Okay, this is not in a particular order, and this is not specific for a lot of things, and this is me writing a lot, and and yes, I mean, I have a lot of people that tell me that when they want an explanation or something like that, they look for me, but if it's not fun. If it was a contest for speed, I would probably be dead last, if not last. So um anyway, here we go. So number 39 is let's see, 101 tips. It's okay. Get a timer. The reason being, timers, and I mean analogical timers, the ones that you just do like this, turn it. The reason being is that you need it for almost everything. If you are a person that has concentration issues, that will help you. If you have too much things to do, that will help you. If you get distracted all the time, that will help you. If that will help you. If that will help you. And you want to have two per person, and they are cheap. They are like $3 or $4, $5. If you buy them online alone, they're probably going to be 10. But you can buy them in bulk, and don't get it from the cell phone again. Every single time that you use your cell phone, 9 out of 10, you will be distracted, you will get notifications, you are going to spend the battery of the cell phone in doing things that is just not what you were meant to be doing. And so to avoid distractions, you want to have the physical, analogical things. And so, honest to God, just like I said, easy and convenient, not the best, especially for a lot of things. Okay, so number 40, it will be checked benefits for work. I have mentioned this before. There is a lot of people that are paying gym memberships, even though that when you're working, you get a membership for the gym for free. So you have it free, but you're paying for it. No. Or it might be that you can belong to a club, or you can apply for benefits. This also includes looking for the benefits of the credit cards that you're using. I have mentioned this before. There was a woman that was able to save enough money to travel abroad just because of the credit card points that she got. And you need to learn about those things. And similarly, 41 is get programs for bonuses and places that you frequent, like markets, supermarkets, etc. So for example, when I was in the US, I used to buy a lot of clothing for a certain store, and they will stamp every time that I got there and I bought anything. They will make a stamp on a piece of paper that they got me, and then once you have this amount of stamps, you can get a discount, or you can get a free gift, or whatever it was. And so it's like a frequent client program thing. If you frequent a lot of places, then you want to sign up for those. And usually those things also will give you free stuff for your birthday and other stuff. And 42. So there was a lot of issues with my neighbors. They were complaining a lot because all of a suddenly meat was double the price, more than double. And there was like a convulsion because everybody was kind of like, I went on Friday, today is Monday, and I'm trying to buy meat for the entire week and I can't. Blah, blah, blah. And so, sorry about that, I got interrupted. So get substitutions. Now, here you want to understand that there are two concepts that people think that they are the same. They are not. It's called rivals and actual substitution. And so it's kind of like having an alternative. So when you cannot have something made by a computer, like a paper or a notebook or whatever it is that you need to have written, then the total substitute will be you having it done by hand. And so that one is an alternative to the issues that you are having. When something goes up too much, you can have an entire row of items that you can just replace by something else entirely. So for example, in the meat thing, I told the neighbors that they could learn how to make tofu, and that will be cheaper, and at the same time it will give them a skill. And at the same time, if tofu is not available in the places that you frequent, you could make a market and try to sell it. So that being said, this means that you can make money out of the substitution things, and you can also find other alternatives. Like, okay, so there is a problem with meat, there is a problem with this product or another one, then find something that will give you kind of like the same value, but it's available. So for meat, it will be tofu, or it could be other type of meat. So for example, not a lot of people will know that ancient times, pigeons were also a delicacy. And so it's small, granted, but a comparison, it is cheaper and it is faster to get it, and it is an alternative. And also, it might not be necessarily that you're eating meat from a cow. You can also have meat from fish or other animals. If you're vegan and you are not into any of these things, but rather you're looking for another alternatives, there are even more products that you can get that will provide you the same thing. So get substitutes and try to see that if there is a market for them. And then 43. Now, after I got this with the neighbors, there was a lot of kind of like, not a complaint, but a suggestion of creating a group that does not necessarily talk about neighbor problems, but rather issues with home management and budgets. And so we created another group that it's about advices for handling budgets and issues with your home. And at this point, I created a group, and then I told them that one of the things that it was a very, very bad situation was that when you are buying pans and fries and cookware, then most people just buy it because it's cheap, and you're not supposed to be buying it because it's cheap. You are supposed to have printed an information sheet So print an information sheet. By the way, I have this one in my kitchen agenda for kitchen cookware materials. Cookware materials. Now, what does that mean and why is it important and how did that can save your money? Easy. Because let's say that you have to fry something and then you're using a regular pan, aluminum, versus you frying in copper, versus you frying that thing with Teflon, versus you frying that thing in a cauldron. So several things. Number one, the material that you're using will require more or less time to heat. So time. Then it will also be a problem if this material requires more or less sticky things. So if you're going to fry something and the material is just not going to be slippery like Teflon, then you will require more oil or fat or fatty things or grease or whatever it is that you're using. And so this means that you will be spending more cooking ingredients, fat, oil, whatever it is, butter, whatever it is that you're using. And then on top of that, because you are taking longer, you are also using more propane or more wood or more fuel source, as in electricity or whatever it is. And so now you have three factors that will make a huge impact in your kitchen. Because if you need to buy propane once a week versus you buying every 10 days, that is you saving 10 days in a month. And if you add up that throughout the entire year, that is a lot. And if you are adding up about the time, it's also a lot. And if you add the amount of oil and things that you're using, that is also a lot. Not to mention that when there is a scarcity thing, I'm going to tell you right now that I have mentioned this before, out of the top 10 items that people will go crazy for and you will spend hours and weeks trying to finding that thing. It's going to be sugar, toilet paper, blah, and oil. Because oil is one of those things that you just cannot be without when you are in a kitchen, unless you're telling me that you know how to make your own fat from animals and you have a way for making oil out of olive oil or something like that, and you already are doing that. But other than that, then you need it frequently. And so those things that are frequently used and that are kind of universal are going to be insane. You are not going to find any of those things anymore. So if it is supposed to last you a month, but now it's lasting you less because you're using more, then it's going to be a problem. So if you can use less so that it can last you 2 months rather than 1 month, is going to be extremely beneficial. And so it's very, very, very important that you do that. So it's not the same the materials that you have in the cookware. And similarly, you should learn how to use the refrigerator. Use refrigerator properly. Now, the reason being is that there is a 99% chance that you are misusing your refrigerator. What does that mean? It means that there is a reason why you have different levels on the refrigerator. And if you put things where they do not belong, they will spoil faster or they will freeze or they will not be in the temperature that you need them to be when you're going to use them. And this will make your food less safe and it will make it last less, and at the same time you will need to throw more. So currently we have a problem because nearly half of the food that we are buying goes to the trash bin, either because we're not using it or because it gets spoiled very fast or whatever it is. And one of the reasons is that you're not using the refrigerator properly. So you want to have the manual printed and then read it out loud and have your entire family, this shelf is for this shelf is for that, this shelf is for this shelf is for that. And don't mess around with that one, because if you mess around with that one, it will cost you more money. And if you add up that amount of money throughout the entire year, it's going to be insane. And at the same time, there is another thing that goes with the freezer. If the freezer is empty because all you have is ice, like the ice cubes, and that's it, or you just bought a couple of things and put it there, then that is also going to be a problem. Because every time that you open the fridge, the air that it is very cool will be out immediately. Like, you're thinking there is a power outage, if I just open the fridge and then you just close it, it will be okay. No, it's not, because the air is gone. Air is just boom, that's it, it's gone. And so if you close it again, it's going to be warm. It might be a little bit cool, but it's not going to keep the cool things. Why not? Well, because it is air, and so it's not going to be sustained. However, here is how it works. If you were to put things in blocks, like ice bags that you can buy or place together, or even things filled with water, water bottles or whatever it is that you want to put in those things, or even plastic things that you can just have it refilled with anything that you want to put in there, like ice cream or whatever it is. And you put the refrigerator not filled 100%, but filled to at least 70 to 80% of the entire space. If you open it, then that cool, meaning the things that are already frozen, they are not going to be melted in 1 second. And so they will keep cool. And at that point, the condensation will be way smaller than if it was just you setting up the air when it is empty. And so the air conditioner with the system will work better. It will spend less life of the engine and everything else. That's what the technician told me. I do not know, but the technical details will be, you can discuss it with the technician or read it in the manual. But the point is that if there is a blackout, the thing in the fridge will last longer. And at the same time, if the refrigerator will work better. And at the same time, you will be able to put things together in a way that is way better than you having the fridge empty. And so at the end of the day, this will help you maintain things better and save money in the short term, long term, and medium term. And so it's important that you use this manual properly for both the fridge and the freezer. Okay, especially for the freezer and during hard times. And the next one will be buy appliances and others properly. I have mentioned this before. The brand might be important, but it's also important that you understand certain characteristics of the model. So I'm not going to count this as number 45 because I already mentioned this one before, but I'm going to repeat it. When you're going to buy a refrigerator, for example, let's think there is a blackout. What is the thing that you most frequently you open the fridge for? Like half of the time, it's going to be cold water. So if there is a blackout and you keep opening and closing the refrigerator because you want to have cool water, that's a problem. And it is a problem even for the things that you already have in there during good times. Because every single time that you open the thing, I have mentioned this before, the air is already cold. But once you open this thing, it's already warm. Because it is air versus air, and you're not going to keep it cool. And then what you can do is buy the refrigerator that you don't need to open it to get cold water. You just need to press a button and you can get the cold water. And that's it. That way you don't need to open it. And if there is a blackout, you will still have cold water, and you can have better systems for even the accidents in your house. Because if you're going to open the refrigerator all the freaking time, it's going to be a problem with people that might be bumping into that, or other stuff like even leaking. And so no, it's better to have it. If you're going to buy it new, then it's better to have those things. Similarly, if you are going to buy a refrigerator and they have the grid in the inside and you can't see it, if there is a problem with the refrigerator and the technician needs to repair that thing or look for it, and the thing is inside, they will have to remove the panel, and then it will be a problem to repair that thing. And so it is better to have the grid for the refrigerator outside rather than inside of the refrigerator. Because if you have it outside, you can clean it easier, you can do a lot of things easier, and you can find the problems easier if you're a technician. And so, however, there are pros and cons with this situation. And it is, if of course, if it is outside, you might have problems if you have kids, pets, whatever. And so it's kind of like you have to weigh your options there. But other than that, it is very important that you know this one. I have mentioned this before in the group. It's important that you want to have a garden if possible. And if you are able to also understand maintenance of things within the kitchen, like sharpener or other stuff, is going to save you money in the short term, long term, and others. Now, number 45. Give me a minute, my mom is calling. Okay, so number 45 is going to be join a club or clubs, as in plural, that are for several things. Number one, it will be, if you're a homeowner, then join a club for homeowners. If you are a car owner, job clubs and things like this. The reason being is that, number one, you want to know what the hell is happening on those areas. Because if there is a new law that you are not aware of in terms of taxes or in terms of anything with your house, and then you're caught off guard, right? Or if there is a new one when you are in an RV or something like this, or if there is a problem with whatever it is that you want to make your club about. So it can be a professional club, like you have a lawyer and you have a bunch of lawyers that meet once a week or once a month or whatever it is. And similarly, you want to join symposiums, workshops, or whatever it is. Now, they are going to be a little bit expensive, but here's the deal why they will save you in the short term, in the medium term, and in the long term. Because you need human contact. You might hate it because you're an introvert, and I get it. You might be against it because it is too expensive already. I get it. You could do it online. I get it. I get your point, but that's not how you were meant to work. Meaning, just like you and me, you are an immunological being. And if you are an immunological being, this means that you require seeing somebody in person. Reason being, you need your mirror neurons or neuromirrors. I forgot the name in English, but the ones that are in your brain. You need them to work, and they will not work with you online. They will not be activated. And if you don't activate those, then your sense of empathy, connection, and all kinds of hormones that are supposed to be working in your body, they will not work. If they don't work, then the probability of you being sick because of your hormonal imbalances is higher. It will also increase your problems with depression, anxiety, and all kinds of things. If you're thinking, no, but me being in a group makes me more anxious. Yeah, that's because your mirror neurons are not working properly. So you want to try to use them and train them. It's kind of like when you're learning how to walk, you're probably going to, fall several times, but they will work, and it will be able to let you understand yourself and a lot of other things. And at this point, I'm not telling you to do all clubs just because. Pick one or two that you absolutely love. So for example, if you love skiing, then pick a club about skiing. If you love senderism, then pick senderism. If you want to save the planet and therefore you want to save animals, join the animal club. Then join that club. It doesn't have to be something that is scary or just because. If you don't want to join the club for example, homeowners or whatever, you can join newsletters that come up every week. That can also work. However, the ones that are about your passion or the things that you do frequently, you do want to have them physically. If you don't have light, you don't go out and meet people. If you work against your evolutionary process, and you work against your body, and you work against your own brain, what do you think is going to happen to you in the short term, medium term, and long term? It's going to be way more expensive, because you're going to end up spending a lot of money on pills, treatments, doctors, and God knows what else. And therefore, it is cheaper to just join a club and be happy. And yes, some of these clubs are expensive, but get rid of the clubs that you do not use, don't need, or whatever it is, and get the ones that are actually useful for you. So number 46, it will be okay. So I was talking in the group about ways to enhance the experiences of shopping. And at this point, I told people that they needed to learn how to shop properly. And that is, in certain aspects, there is 9 out of 10 people that are married to brands for no reason other than they look cool. Okay. So, you don't need to be married to a brand. Divorce them. Just honest to God, it's a brand. Why do you find it that you cannot be without this particular, I don't know, let's say that it is something that is just common, like salt or sugar or I don't know, mayo or whatever it is. There are certain things that yes, you want to have kind of like a married situation, because it's like for example, medicine. If the doctor tells you this brand, you don't want to get the generic one. Yes, the generic one will work, but in a lot of the times, like half of the times, the generic one will not work. You need the original. And so, yes, the generic one might be cheaper and it can work, but then in the long term, you might require longer treatment, or you might require something else because you're not getting the brand one. So medicine is one of those things that you really want to try to be married. If not, because you can't afford it, whatever it is, okay, fine. But If not, then you try to do that one. But other than that, there are few instances in which you really want to get married to a brand. Other than that, like certain appliances and others, because if they get damaged or if you have a problem, if you cannot find technical support, or if that thing is going to blow up and create a fire, or something like this, because it is a risky situation, because you don't know them, because of whatever, yeah, I get it. So there are times in which, like I said, brand marriage, very important. Other than that, divorce them and get out. Honest to God, just try to understand, because during hard times there is a scarcity situation. If there is a scarcity situation, you will not find your shampoo, you will not find your conditioner, you will not find your soap, you will not find that butter, you will not find that toilet paper, you will not find, those things, you're not finding them. And similarly, check for all the plans that you're paying. So for example, if you're paying for cable, check the plan that you're using. Maybe you are only watching 3 channels or 4 channels that you are always watching, and so they might come in the premium package, but they might also come in the regular package. If you don't need the premium because you're not seeing 50 channels but you're only seeing these 4, then get the basic. Vice versa. If you find yourself that you are using something too much, then get the premium account for the services that you frequently use, even if it is more expensive. Reason being is that you will get more points, and at the same time it will help you, because you will know that you are paying for something that you actually enjoy and like. And at this point, a lot of people go, I am kind of like this, I'm paying the basic for this, even though that I am overly using it, or is the thing that I'm using the most. No, get the premium service. Reason being is that in your head, poverty comes in your head. It's not just physically, okay? You might be poor physically, like in a lot of situations. Like me right now, for example, I don't have a lot of income or whatever, blah, blah. But in your brain, you cannot be poor, or you shouldn't be poor. And so if in your brain you are saying, I am paying basic even though I'm using premium, there is a shortcut. There is like a boom inside your brain, because you are telling yourself subconsciously that you're not worth it. And then every single time that you are going to make a choice, you will put yourself last. And not only that, but you will start denying other stuff just because. Let me explain. This is something that I don't know if it has been studied in psychology, but I do know that if you pay attention, you will see it. Have you find people that they are so generous and they are so cool, but then when it comes to, buying things for themselves, they go, no, that's too expensive. That is $1. I'm not spending $1 in that suite for me. It's just $1 and it is for you. You work hard. You can get it. I mean, it's not like you're going to buy caviar, okay? And it's not like you're going to buy, I don't know, a $200 makeup thing. It's just a simple thing. And yet you deny yourself. But you are willing to spend $300 on a movie date. But you're not willing to spend $1 more in your favorite shampoo. See that disparity? That disparity is what creates all kinds of poverty in your brain. So, destroy the poverty within your brain. So, how do you destroy the poverty within your brain? You buy premium. One of the things that you can do is buy premium when it comes to the things that you like and you absolutely love. So for example, if you shower and that's the only time that you relax and whatever, and for you it is extremely important that particular brand of cream for your hair or whatever it is, then spoil yourself with that one. But pick one or two things that you spoil yourself with. But other than that, don't know. Because if you're going to go to the other extreme that goes, I'm married to a brand for everything that I do, that's just not going to be okay. Because you might not be able to sustain it short term, long term, or even medium term. And so there is a lot of choices, and the thing is that you want to check, breathe, and check with your brain and talk to your friends if they think that you are being too cheap with yourself. Not others, but to yourself. Because 9 out of 10 times people will be cheap with themselves, but not others. It's kind of like, I'm buying something for my friend and I do not care if I'm spending $400. But if I'm buying something for myself, yeah, $1 is too much. So there are a lot of things. If you enjoy, for example, movies, get the premium packages for all kinds of movies so that you can have an enjoyable pleasure thing. And that will tell your brain, it's okay. Because I'm treating myself properly. I'm not unbalanced. I'm not begging other people to buying other people's favors or whatever. And so it's important that you understand the process within your brain. Not what you are doing, why are you doing it? And how are you doing it, okay? And so this will also include, but is not limited to, the services plans that you are using. Services plans like communications, data services, internet, and others. And that includes that you really, really, really want to pay for a security plan. And this security plan is Security Online. Security Online plan. That is number 47. So, for example, it can be the use of VPNs or whatever it is that can help you protect your identity from thefts. And that is extremely important for teens. I swear, I saw the other day a guy, I think he was 20 something, on TikTok. He said, I am getting this code on my cell phone on a message. What does that code mean? And the code was a text message for somebody to hack their cell phone. So somebody sends you a text. If you give that code to anybody, that they can just put in that code and they can literally take everything from you. And this person didn't know what it was, and he just published it online, and the hackers were probably laughing the hell out of this situation because now they have the code. And I am assuming that now he's going to be in so much trouble. And so buy and get security online plans that can help you with these kind of issues. This also means that these companies will very likely offer you a newsletter of ways that scammers are working. And so it's like an insurance company that will try to get you aware of how thieves are working to get your car. Because if your car gets stolen, they have to pay for it. But if they teach you how to not get your car stolen, then they can keep taking money from you and nobody's stealing your car. So it's a win-win for you and the company. So especially insurance companies. And so there are companies that will provide you with this thing when you get their services. And when you get the services, like I said, you want to get premium services because it is worth it. Reason being, okay, so how much money is it worth if you are going to lose, I don't know, these things, like I said, because you didn't know what a code was or others. And at this point, that's why you want to have people within your community or in a community group. And in the community group, you can say things like, I got a code on my cell phone, what does that mean? And you don't have to show it, but there will be other people that will be willing to help you within your neighborhood community and other stuff like this. Which brings me to the next thing, and it is volunteering. You want to do volunteering of any kind of sort. Now, if you work overtime and things like this, obviously you do not have time to volunteer. However, there are people that can volunteer even if you are in your job or whatever it is. And volunteering will help you enhance, like I said, your network of support if something goes wrong. And it will also help you in a lot of other terms. Like, people will know that you're reliable. People will know that they can count on you. And at the same time, it's a thing for passion. So it might be you cleaning. It might be you helping animals. It might be you, whatever it is. And the thing is that if you do this, in which you are actually saving the world somehow, that will prevent you from getting diseases. It will prevent a lot of bad things from happening to you. And it will also enhance your mind and your social life. And it will provide you with opportunities for dating or other stuff that might be into your radar, because maybe you're married and you're not interested in dating. But there are other people who are single that might be interested in dating somebody who is also reliable, somebody who is also trying to save the world, somebody who is also doing this and this and that. And so that one will save you a ton of bad situations, and it will help you enhance your own strength and your own things. So number 49, it will be find ways to rent your rooms that are spare within your house, or get annex or others building within your own house so that you can rent them. The reason being is that if your house has 5 rooms but you only use 1 or 2 or 3, then you can rent out the other rooms. If you rent the other rooms out, you will be able to get money. However, be aware of the risk a lot. Like, really, it's just a lot. And so this will help you make money, but if you are the type of person that will never get along with this one, then don't. However, understand that that is an option, and so on. If you want to understand that one, I have several videos on this one because I do that one in my house. Then let's see, make investments in any type of services that are related to transportation. Make investments that are related to transportation. Now, I'm not talking about your car. No. I'm talking about the transportation market and services. Transportation market meaning, okay, so transportation is one of the primary markets, and it means it's a need. And so there are a lot of choices in terms of transportation, because you can get a lot of types of cars, but transportation is not limited to cars. It's also, transportation is 3 types: air, water, and land. And there are also hybrids. There are that's a special type of transportation. But each one will have rules and regulations, that's the government, but then they will also have rules and regulations in terms of the spare parts, the standards, the fuel, and all kinds of things related to that. That being said, this means that this one cannot be changed. And that being said, this means that if you are into this type of thing, you will make a lot of money because that cannot be changed. And so, for example, fuel, that is a need. All the vehicles require fuel. And so they also require spare parts. That means that you can also invest into machinery and others that make the spare parts, as in companies that produce the spare parts, and then companies that produce the machinery for making the spare parts. If you get money into the people that make the machinery, not the spare parts, but the machinery for making the spare parts, as in the industry per se, that one will make tons and tons and tons of money, because they need to be standard and they cannot be changed, and they are law. And because they are law, they are going to have to do it yes or yes, because otherwise they will not be able to participate in this thing. So find out about how to invest into this type of market. Reason being is that you will have one source of income that will very likely be stable. And so what you want to understand about investments is that you want to have different investments, 4 types of investments. Investments that are related to transportation, that are going to be kind of stable. Investments that are related to food and other companies related to this one, they are also kind of stable. And in this one for food, you could also invest in pharmacy or natural medicine and things like this. They are kind of stable, but there is a lot of competition in there. And at the same time, that one might be able to get into a lot of lawsuits and things like this, because there might be cross-contamination, and the law regulating this one is way more, and therefore the profit margin might be lower, but it is also kind of stable. And then there is the one for services that is not stable at all. The reason being is that services are not something that people might require. So for example, if you invest in a cable company, but now people don't watch cables anymore, then you lost your investment. And so services, so for example, if you even invest into services for movies or anything that is related to services, consumerism, even clothing in this aspect is considered a service. Not because they are a service, but because they are not what people use in bulk in the money, and therefore is not stable. And also it's not stable because how frequently do you go shopping for clothing? Do you shopping every day? No. You probably do it once a year. There is a lot of people that don't do it even for 2 years, and there is people that you just go and do it once a week. And so it is a thing, and therefore it's a service. It's not frequently, and it's not stable. And then the last one is investing in technology and things like this that you just go boom one day and you don't even know. So it might be a search engine, or it might be a new app, or it might be a new AI, or whatever it is. And it's a market that is unknown for a lot of people, and is not even something that most people will consider for their daily life unless they are working with that. And so that one will give you huge profits, but it's more risky. So level 1, stable and kind of normal. Number 2, stable, profit margin not too good, but still stable. And then the last one, so. And then the last one is huge profit margins, but if it crash like cryptocurrency or whatever it is, then you lost. And so huge risk and things like this. So make investments into any of these 4 things that you want, and talk to a financial advisor about these things, because I told you before, I am a teacher. I am not a financial advisor. I am not a doctor or anything like that. But I am telling you that the way that you want to look at the investments is you want to save a little bit of money and try to see if you can put money into these things, either through a startup project or a startup thing. Again, you can talk to your financial advisor, or you can talk to people that are into these things, and that way you can make a small investment and you can make a small income every month or every quarter or once a year, and it will be a stream of income that it might be going on forever, because you might be able to get stocks in a company, and that company, if it works for 150 years, then you are going to get money for 150 years. And so it's an important thing, because it will help you over time, and it has to be done in moderation. You cannot go all out like a gamble. No, you want to be slow and steady. Slow and steady beats the rates, okay? This one is just like that. And it has been nearly 50 minutes, and so far I have been now for the number 50. So let's leave it at here, and I will try to do the 61 that I'm still missing in other videos. And yes, I'm thinking that it's probably going to take 4 videos, about an hour each one, to figure out this thing. If I was going to write a book, I would probably, like I said, organize all of these ideas that I am telling you in the spirit of the moment. And I will probably have to think more about how to structure it and other stuff later on. But so far, is just think about the process that goes through your brain when you are doing something. Because if it goes through your brain, that is where you are very likely going to either fail or success, or just be half, neither. And so, for example, if you are a person that is always doing impulse shopping, you have a shopping addiction, especially if you're a woman, this is going to be a problem for you and your family. And it also is going to be an issue. If you have other addictions because you're a man, for example, alcoholism, or maybe you are consuming drugs, or you are consuming cigarettes, or you're consuming a lot of other stuff, like, online stuff or whatever, then it will be a problem. So when you are dealing with money, you are dealing with a mind process. And if you're dealing with a mind process, you want to first clean out, let's say 51. Just clean out your intestines, as in do a detoxification process, as in detoxing process, clean detoxing process frequently. Our ancestors used to do it quarterly. We want to probably do it monthly. Reason being, well, right now there is a lot of more parasites and more, issues in our gut and all kinds of things. If you don't do this one, you are going to be in trouble in the short term, medium term, and long term. And so, honest to God, just do this one, because it's cheaper to do this one rather than having to, deal with the aftermath of these things destroying your body, which they do slowly. And so, like I said, it's going to be, 4 videos. But bring out your mind process. And if you have addictions of some sort, and they are taking a toll in your finances, understand the root of your addiction. If you understand the immunological root of your addiction, you will get rid of that thing almost immediately. It's going to be like a miracle thing. And so if your addiction is destroying your finances, you might need to get help, um, depending upon what addiction it is. But generally speaking, when you're managing money, you need to understand it comes from discipline, it comes from your mind, it comes from your own energy process, it also comes from patterns. That's why in families it is so difficult for poor families to get rid of that parasite and that brain thing that goes into your brain, that it is rotting in your brain. And therefore it is the reason why most poor families stay poor for entire generations and generations and generations. And so is a situation that you want to take things slow. When you get a timer, it will help you train your brain. When you get an apron, it will help you train your brain. When you get small, very cheap things, detailed things, will help you deal with a lot of other problems that are related to managing money. And the managing of money is also about managing your time, managing your income, managing yourself, and managing others. In situations like my country, which is insane, because the situation in my country is insane because of the politicians and because of so many economical and environmental factors, and even structural factors. I don't have, a lot of the times I don't have power or electricity. Sometimes I don't have water. Sometimes I don't have internet. Sometimes I don't have cash, or we can't have access to money. There are other times in which we just can't have access to transportation. There are other times which we can't. Yeah. So there is systems that you will just not support you to do your best. And there are other systems that are perfect, but they have other types of issues that will also, kind of like push you down so that you will not be able to make money. Like education and the level of connections that you need in order for you to get things, because there are a lot of systems that will not work if you do not have connections. There is also factors that will be in place, like you being a woman. In certain places, if you are a woman, you are not allowed to make money, and you're not allowed to work, you're not allowed to study, you're not, yeah. So there is a lot of issues like that. And then there is other factors that come into play, even with the psychology of situations when you are a man and you are not, like in the cream at the top of the top. You might be fighting with other men, and that is a fierce competition, because men are competitive by nature and things like this, and that will also hinder you from making money. And so when you're making money, it's not about just saving, which is you trying not to get deeper. When you're saving money, you are trying not to get deeper, but that doesn't mean that you will be not sinking. You are sinking, but instead of you sinking like this, you are sinking this. And so you cannot be sinking all the time like that. You need to go up. And in order for you to go up, you also need to either prevent you from moving one step down, even if it is slow. And that one is you, a lot of the things that I have mentioned here before. And then there is you making money. If you want to go up, that one, you need financial advisors, you need capital, you need connections, and you need a bunch of things that, quite frankly, I don't have. And quite frankly, I have no idea how the hell to get it. However, there is a lot of people that out there that will be able to help you and will be able to pull that one off for you. So, for example, there is a lot of people that might be able to tell you how to make money with AI or whatever it is. I, on the other hand, am not very good with that one, because, like I said, it's a huge gamble, and I try not to gamble. It's just my personality. There's a lot of people that are into that, but I'm not. And therefore, if it goes against your own personality and against your own brain and against everything else, you might need to slow down and put it apart, because that might not work for you. And if it doesn't work for you, you will end up being bitter and regretting it, and then blaming everybody else and doing a lot of things that you are not meant to be doing. Therefore, trying to learn, trying to teach you, and that is why no way in hell I'm going to tell you 101 tips in 100 minutes. It's not happening. It's, like I said, probably going to take 4 videos. Sorry about that. Thank you for staying tuned. See you again soon.